Hey everyone, Shadow9 here from Meta of Smash, and today I'm going to be going over Samus and Dark Samus's Zair usage. Now Zair is a move that I see a lot of Samus players either using improperly or just not using at all. So today I'm going to go over the situations and uses for this move. So let's get started. So first, let's talk about using Zair on stage. Now the most practical use here is spacing and setups. So let's go over spacing first. For this, you really just want to use the end hit of Zair, since the middle hit won't provide you with much knockback or space between you and your opponent. It's best used out of a fast fall where you get just the end hit to set distance or force them to jump, which you can then punish with a quick short hop up air, neutral air, or just retreat and fire either side B or neutral B or another defensive option to continue your projectile spacing. Now personally, I wouldn't go for the spacing option against smaller characters like Pikachu or Mario, since it can be whiff punished very easily. It's better to go for the spacing option against larger and mid to heavyweight characters. Regardless, still just don't overuse it. Just like any other spacing move or just move in general, keep your options fresh and don't be predictable, but still keep the option in your hand. Now for aerial spacing, Zair can be used to hit opponents on opposite platforms, say on Battlefield's platforms. So say your opponent lands there after a juggle, combo, retreating situation, or just something like that, and you can't reach them fast without another aerial or a special. Zair can catch them and set them into another tumble-based reaction situation, which you could potentially read and get another punish off of. Now, Zair can also be used out of aerial combos, or if your opponent is just trying to DI away while higher up off stage. Or they can be DIing towards you on stage either way if they're trying to get back or getting out of a combo or something like that. Say you finish an up air to forward air. You can Zair out of it to get some extra space and damage against your opponent. Or if your opponent is just unsafely trying to get back on stage, like I mentioned before, you can just go for a Zair instead of committing to an option like Fair or another shorter range aerial. Now this can also force them to recover low, allowing you to possibly get a punish or just make sure they're going into that ledge trapping sort of situation there. Now for some added details, Zair is active on frame 8 and has 8 frames of landing lag, which isn't bad, but is punishable if you go for a base or middle hit Zair. And on a final note, Zair can snuff out quite a few projectiles, such as the Belmonte's Cross and Holy Water, lower charges of Mewtwo's Shadow Ball, Lucario's Aura Sphere, and Sun Salutation from Wii Fit Trainer. It can also be used to cancel out moves like Bowser's Fire Breath, Charizard's Flamethrower, or snuff out reflectors like Falco's, or if your opponent is just overusing a reflector or absorbing move like Ness, you can use Zair to kind of poke through that. The other moves, you can also use higher charge neutral B or charge shot to get through it as well, but Zair can be a solid alternative if you need one. Now for the setups. Zair has quite a few setups using the middle hit of the move. So starting off, one of the most beneficial setups is Zair to grab, which isn't a true setup, but it's very consistent and can last for a very long time percent-wise. Now next up, Zair can follow up into jab, down tilt, or forward tilt for added damage or spacing. Zair to jab can lead into a jab down tilt for damage, or a jab to pivot grab for more damage. Zair to down tilt will just add damage instead of lead into follow-ups due to down tilt having a lot of end lag. And Zair forward tilt can be a good way to either put space between you and your opponent or to set up into a tech chase situation. Keep in mind, these 3 moves are true, so from mid-low to mid-high percents, you can pretty much just use these whenever you need to. Now for the big one, Zair to forward smash, again using the middle hit of Zair. And this is a very consistent kill confirm that works at higher percents. Near ledge, it'll start killing around 80% against lightweights, 90% for midweights, and 97 to 100% for heavyweights. This confirm works very consistently until very high percents. However, it is not a true combo, so don't solely rely on it to get kills, but it's still very consistent, so keep it in mind if you need to seal out a stock. Zair to down smash can also work at lower percents to set up into tech chase punish situations, but it will not kill until very high percents, so don't go for this as an alternative. Now, with this info, don't just jump around constantly using Zair to try and land one of these options, since it can be punished if you misspace your Zair, or it can just not lead into anything if you try to use the end hit for follow-ups, or you just misspace it and aren't able to get a confirm. So just keep it in your hand when you want to mix up your opponent, or you feel like you're in a good position to use the move for a follow-up or a kill confirm at higher percents. On a final side note, Zair actually has 2 hits. Now, getting them consistently is basically RNG, but they do seem to happen most at either the very base or the very end of Zair. Now, I wouldn't really try to get these hits consistently, since they can kind of mess you up if you're going for a setup or something like that. They're better to happen while you're spacing, because I think it does add extra damage, so that's pretty much the best place for it to happen. If you do get it, if you're going for a setup or something, which is very rare, but if it does, then I wouldn't really go for a follow-up, because that means you're either really close or it just randomly happened, but the launch angle can be weird and the positioning can be weird, so I wouldn't really go for a setup off of it if you do happen to get the second hit. Now for the offstage use. This side of Zair is a lot more simple, but still worth covering. Now, not to state the obvious, but Zair will primarily just be for recovering. However, by now you've probably had a few situations like this. Now, I can't really give you a solid reason as to why this happens, since more people than me have labbed Zair recovering for hours and never found anything consistent. But the best theory we have is this. Zair has 2 forms, one for attacking and one for recovering. If your opponent is near the ledge, there's a chance that it will take the attacking form instead, which doesn't grab ledge, causing this to happen. So the best advice I can give here is if your opponent is near the ledge, opt for a jump up B or down B up B recovery instead. Or at the very least, Zair either when you're slightly above or slightly below the stage, since this seems to grab ledge a little more consistently. Otherwise, just use Zair wherever to recover. You can also do some weird stuff, where if you input up at the right time when tethering slightly above the stage, you can just slide onto the stage directly. However, this can be punished if your opponent is in front of you due to it having a decent amount of lag, but it can be a decent mix-up option. On another note, if you're off stage and charging neutral B, there's a 2-frame window close to when you start charging where you can Zair and grab ledge. You can also use tether canceling to follow up into another aerial or a flashy spike if your opponent is off stage or following you off stage. To do this, just press down on the control stick after you tether to cancel out. From here you can go for an option like back air, down air, neutral B, or something like that to land a kill. Keep in mind you'll still have a double jump, down B, and neutral B plus its reversing capabilities at your disposal, so do whatever you feel is best to try and edgeguard your opponent. You can lab out all kinds of possibilities in training mode. Here's an example of tether canceling in use. But that does it for this video. I hope you guys found this guide helpful. If you did, be sure to drop a like, and be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. Thanks again for watching.